Hi student, the subject programming in C++. The first we'll understand about how the structure of C++ program. First, the C++ program, it is developed in 1979 by B. Jarnay startup at AT&T Bell Laboratory. It is a high-level programming language and advanced version of C programming language. It's compared to other like Java and Python. It is the fastest programming language. First we'll go with what is the basic structure to write a program. First of all, we'll understand what is syntax, why it is required for writing a program. Syntax refers to the rule and regulations for writing statements in a programming language. You can know that once you write any statement, there should be a rules and regulations. The examples, you need to write a data type. You need to use some keywords. How you represents that keywords. Like integer, how do you write or declaring the variables? Or you want to include some header files, how you need to write? What is the format? What is the rules? Why you are adding hash? It is comes in the rules and regulations. The C++ language also has its syntax for the functionalities it provides. Different statements have different syntax specifying their usage. But C++ program also have basic syntax rules that are followed throughout all the programs. We'll understand the basic structure of C++. We can observe here. First, the header file, it is always #include. The header files gives to the compiler which library files are used. For example, you are using some of the input-output statement. What are the header files you are going to be using? It is IO stream. It's input-output stream. And we have the standard namespace we can use like an std, using namespace std. And all the program we should start with the main function. Any function, it has a return type, so you should start with int. So return value, it is an integer type, so that is return the integer type what you mentioned as 0 here. This is the format declaring the variable. After that, it has the braces, open and the close, and you can define the variables. What are the variables, how it should be, or what type of the variables. As well, you can use the statement like cout statement or cin statement with the greater than operator. We'll come to that what is lesser operator or greater operator in the next sessions. As I told you that this operator as an insertion operator and this operator is extraction operator. That means that where the content or the string we need to display on the screen by using cout statement. Similarly, in cin statement, where the value it is taken from the keyboard and putting into a variable, that is inserting to a variable, where we are using as cin statement. So let's start with individual what is header files what it contains. See, the header files contains the definition of the functions and macros we are using in our program. They are defined on the top of the C++ program, where we are using line number 1, hash include IO stream. Tells the compiler to include an IO stream header file library which stores the definition of the cin and cout methods. It is preprocessor directive hash include, where we can use kind of macros, like we can use the macros like hash define. This also kind of macros. If def, also if define, also we can use. These are all the preprocessor directives which import the header files. The syntax simple, as I mentioned, hash include. It is in angular brackets. There the library files we can write it here. Next we go with the namespace. A namespace in C++ is used to provide a scope or region where we define identifiers. Here we are using some of the identifiers or keywords like cin and cout of some of the identifiers. For that we need to use a standard library, like we can use std. So it is used to avoid name conflicts between two identifiers, between whatever the name we defined as an identifiers. So we use this syntax using namespace std statement for specifying that we will be the standard namespace where all the standard library functions are defined. Syntax using namespace std, remember that should be end with semicolon. Next we'll go with function, where we start with our main program, that is main. Functions are basic building blocks of C++ program that contains the instruction for performing some specific task. That is what we called as a function. Sometimes we can call it as a subroutine. Routine names a function. Apart from the instruction present in its body, a function definition also contains information about its return type and parameter that we discussed in particularly on C++ functions. So here we need to know that we define the main function as int is the return type. The main function is most important part of C++ program. The program execution always starts from the main function. So the syntax is simple: int main function, function with, we can write with the closed brackets, and start with your flower brackets. Because you return as an integer here, so that's we supposed to write return 0. This is your main function syntax. And next we'll go with a body or blocks. Blocks is a group of statements that enclosed with braces, open and close braces. They define the scope of the identifiers and other generally used to enclose the body of the functions and control statement. that should be within the braces. Syntax is start with the brace, the body should be written in whatever the body, and here that is a total kind of the block with along with the return 0. Next we'll understand about a semicolon. As you may have noticed by now, each statement in above code is followed by a semicolon. It is used to terminate each line of the statement of the program. When the compiler sees the semicolon, it terminates the operation of that line and moves to the next line. Remember, all the statement except some looping structures are terminated by semicolon. Next we'll go with identifiers. Identifiers of the naming variables or functions and other user defined data types. An identifier may consist of uppercase and lowercase alphabetical characters, and it has an underscore and a digit. First letter must be an underscore and alphabet, and it should not be a numerical value. Like for example, any naming of your identifiers, or we call it as a variables, it gives a significant meaning. It should not contain a special characters like hash, star, minus, plus, all kind of special character it should not contain. As I said, it should give the specific meaning, and it should not contain a keyword. The identifier should not have a keyword. Example, if I given int a num1 and num2 are the identifiers as the type of data type as integer. Next we'll go with keyword. In the C++ programming language, there are some reserved words that are used some special meaning. In C++ programming, it can be used for identifiers. Cannot be used for identifiers. Like, what are the keywords? You are using integer, void, if, while, for loop, auto, boolean, break, this statement, static, new, true, false, case, character, class, private, public, all are the keywords that should not be used as a identifiers. As I said that these keywords are reserved word to do some specific task. Next we have the basic output statement cout. This is an object. It is used to print a output statement on the screen. So here we are using cout statement and the extraction operator. It takes the statement extracted through an object cout and printed on the screen. Here screen is a string for output statement. Similarly, we have the cin statement. This also, here we are using insertion operator or put to operator to a variable, let's say a, or cascading with another variable where I declared here only that num. Here it takes the input from the keyboard and insert through an object cin to a variable whichever you defined as a or num. Here the keyboard we call it as a stream for the object cin. Let's start with the simple program to demonstrate how my basic syntax. I just explained the concept of addition of two number. I'm taken the two number, one is 24 and 34 with different identifiers as num1 and num2. Those two I'm added here and stored in the result. That's also defined as an integer. That result I'll display by cout statement. The same thing I can do with the different format, like I can define the variable int n and m, ask the user to enter the two number within the double quotes, so you can take the input from the keyboard, that is n and m, then you can do the addition and display of the result. This way also you can take the input from the keyboard. Let's run the program